Imagine waking up one day to find your savings have become worthless. Frightening, isn't it? Terrifying scenario isn't a dystopian fantasy, but a potential reality we face if we continue to ignore the warning signs of our current economic instability. A precarious situation like walking a tightrope above a chasm. One side we have inflation, a natural part of our economic cycle, but one that's been steadily inching upwards, like the creeping tide, slowly but surely eating away at the purchasing power of our hard-earned money. Loaf of bread that once cost $1 now demands $2. The value of your savings doesn't change, but what it can buy certainly does. The other side of this tightrope, we have the spectre of hyperinflation, a ravenous beast that can devour an economy whole. Hyperinflation isn't just inflation sped up, it's inflation gone wild. It's waking up to find that loaf of bread now costs $1,000, and by lunchtime, $10,000. It's the rapid, uncontrolled increase in prices that can turn life savings into pocket change overnight. And at the heart of this precarious balance, pulling the strings, sits the Federal Reserve. Fed, as it's often called, has the power to influence the money supply, can pump more money into the economy, stoking the fires of inflation, or they can tighten the purse strings, risking deflation. A delicate balancing act, and one wrong step could send us tumbling into the abyss. But it's not just about the Fed. Economic instability is also driven by global dynamics, economic policies, and a myriad of factors that are beyond any one institution's control. A complex and interconnected web, and when one thread unravels, the entire tapestry can come undone. We can see the economic landscape is more volatile than ever. But how did we get here? Understand that we need to delve deeper into the world of economics, politics, and power. Tuned as we explore these themes further in the upcoming scenes. What happens when the leaders of a nation fail to take responsibility for their actions? A nation's strength is often measured by the strength of its leadership. In our current climate, it becomes evident that a lack of accountability among leaders can lead to a weakened nation. The economic policies implemented by those in power play a crucial role in the health of a country. However, when these policies fail to address the pressing issues at hand, the nation suffers. Take a moment to consider the economic policies of our current leadership. The decisions made today will echo throughout the generations that follow. It's not just about today's economy, it's about the legacy we're leaving for our children and grandchildren. Yet, in the face of mounting economic challenges, our leadership seems to be taking a back seat, choosing short-term gains over long-term stability. Of the most pressing issues we face today is the rising cost of living. As prices continue to climb, wages remain stagnant. This disparity creates a financial burden for many American families, forcing them to live paycheck to paycheck. But instead of addressing this issue head-on, our leaders are turning a blind eye, leaving millions of Americans to fend for themselves. The leaders' inability to rein in excessive spending has led to an unprecedented national debt. This debt, like a ticking time bomb, threatens the financial stability of our nation. Yet, the leadership continues to borrow and spend recklessly, seemingly unconcerned about the potential fallout. The leadership's lack of foresight and accountability has led us down a dangerous path. A path that, if not corrected, could lead to economic instability and potential collapse. It's a path that has left our nation weakened and vulnerable. The leadership's actions have significant implications, but there's more to the story. The weakening of our nation is not just a result of failed economic policies, it's also a reflection of the trust, or lack thereof, that the citizens have in their leaders. A nation can only be as strong as the faith its people have in those who lead them. And that, dear listeners, is a topic for our next discussion. Let's take a moment to explore the potential outcomes of this loss of trust. When faith in leadership erodes, the effects ripple through every layer of society. A lack of trust can lead to a breakdown in communication, a rise in misinformation, and an increase in social discord. As we navigate this current climate of uncertainty, it becomes clear that the consequences of lost faith are far-reaching and potentially devastating. Imagine a society where citizens no longer trust their leaders. In such a society, rumors and misinformation can spread like wildfire, causing panic and fear. The lack of trust can also lead to apathy and disengagement, as citizens feel their voices are not heard or valued. This disengagement can lead to a decline in civic participation, further weakening the fabric of our society. Moreover, a lack of faith in leadership can exacerbate economic instability. Investors may hesitate to invest, businesses may be reluctant to expand, and consumers may curb their spending. All of these actions can have a negative impact on the economy, leading to stagnation or even recession. Finally, a loss of trust in leadership can lead to social unrest. As citizens lose faith in their leaders, they may take to the streets to voice their discontent. This can lead to protests, strikes, and potentially even violence. In essence, a loss of faith in leadership can lead to a cascade of negative outcomes, destabilizing the nation and potentially leading to a crisis. But what can be done to restore faith and trust in our leaders? That is a question we will explore in the coming scenes. But before we do, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Your support helps us to continue providing in-depth analysis and commentary on the issues that matter to you. Thank you for your support. How does a laptop become a symbol of nationwide distrust? Well, let's take a moment to delve into a recent event that has left many scratching their heads: the Hunter Biden laptop controversy. This incident, shrouded in mystery and controversy, has sparked intense debate and has contributed significantly to the growing mistrust in the government. Picture this: a laptop allegedly belonging to the son of the president is found to contain information that raises eyebrows. The details, though contentious and highly disputed, lead to questions about business deals, foreign influence, and potential conflicts of interest. Isn't a plot from a political thriller, but a real-life scenario that has unfolded before our very eyes. Now, it's not the specifics of the laptop contents that we're focusing on here. No, what we're concerned with is the ripple effect this event has had on the public's trust in their leaders. Incident has become a symbol of something much more profound, an emblem of the growing skepticism and distrust towards those in power. An ideal world, our leaders would be paragons of virtue, their actions transparent and their intentions pure. But we do not live in an ideal world. We live in a world where controversies like this one can shake the very foundations of our faith in the system. And when trust is eroded, the effects can be far-reaching. The implications of this incident go beyond the political sphere, taints the perception of leadership and governance, casting a long shadow over the nation. It brings into question the integrity of those in power, and by extension, the institutions they represent. More, it adds to the narrative of economic instability and uncertainty. It feeds into the fears and anxieties of the citizens who are already grappling with a precarious economic landscape. Here's the crux of the matter. Trust, once lost, is hard to regain. And in an environment where trust is in short supply, the road to recovery becomes that much more challenging. This incident has indeed fueled the fire of distrust, but what are the potential consequences? Well, that's a question we all should be pondering on. It's a question that could very well define the direction of our nation's future. Have you ever wondered why economic bubbles are so dangerous? Please subscribe to help the growth of this channel. Now, let's delve into this fascinating yet alarming phenomenon. Imagine a balloon expanding ever so slowly. As it inflates, it becomes more and more fragile. A small prick can cause it to burst, resulting in a loud pop. That's exactly how an economic bubble works. Economic bubbles are formed when the price of an asset, such as real estate or stocks, wildly exceeds its intrinsic value. This overvaluation can be driven by a variety of factors. Sometimes it's due to irrational exuberance, where investors get overly enthusiastic about a particular asset, pushing its price to astronomical levels. Other times, it's due to easy credit or lax lending standards, which make it easier for people to borrow money and invest in these assets. But here's the catch. Just like a balloon, these bubbles are not sustainable. Eventually, the market realizes that the asset is overpriced and the bubble bursts. The asset's price drops sharply, often to levels even lower than its intrinsic value. This sudden collapse can have devastating consequences. For one, it can lead to a loss of wealth. Investors who had bought the asset at its inflated price find themselves holding onto something that's now worth much less. This can wipe out savings, retirement funds, and even lead to bankruptcy. Secondly, the bursting of a bubble can create a ripple effect throughout the economy. As investors lose money, they cut back on spending. Businesses, in turn, experience a drop in sales, which can lead to layoffs and a rise in unemployment. This slump in economic activity can push the economy into a recession or, in extreme cases, a depression. Lastly, bubbles can create a sense of distrust in the financial system. If people feel that the markets are rigged or unstable, they may be less likely to invest in the future. This can slow down economic growth, might seem harmless, but their burst can lead to dire consequences. Let's remember that the next time we're tempted to get caught up in the hype of the next big. In such uncertain times, how does one secure their investments? Amidst the tumultuous waves of the current economic landscape, securing your investments can feel like trying to navigate a ship through a storm. But fear not, for there are strategies that can help you chart a course that maximizes security and minimizes risk. Such strategy is diversification. Think of it as not putting all your eggs in one basket. By spreading your investments across different asset classes, you mitigate the risk of a single investment damaging your entire portfolio. It's akin to having several anchors for your ship, so if one fails, you have others to keep you steady. Diversification isn't just about investing in different sectors. It's also about considering different geographic regions and currencies. In a global economy, foreign markets can offer opportunities that domestic ones may not. For instance, emerging markets can provide robust returns, although they come with their own set of risks. Another strategy is to focus on income-producing investments. These are the assets that generate a steady stream of income, such as dividends from stocks or rental income from real estate. This is like a steady wind in your sails, providing a consistent push even when the sea is choppy. Let's not forget about the importance of education. Staying informed about market trends and economic indicators can help you make intelligent investment decisions. It's like having a reliable compass and a detailed map when navigating unfamiliar waters. Lastly, remember that investing isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires patience, discipline, and a long-term perspective. It's a journey, not a sprint. In these uncertain times, don't let fear steer your ship. Instead, arm yourself with the right strategies, stay informed, and be patient. The sea may be rough, but with the right approach, you can navigate it successfully. Invest wisely, and you may weather the storm. But what about the bigger picture? How does the current economic instability impact the world at large? As we delve deeper into the global threats arising from the current economic situation, we find ourselves navigating a complex and interconnected landscape. Global economies are not isolated islands, but rather parts of a vast and interconnected web. Ripple in the US economy does not merely fade at the border. It reverberates across oceans and continents, affecting markets from Shanghai to London. The American dollar, for instance, is not just a national symbol but a global benchmark. Its strength or weakness can catalyze economic booms or trigger financial crises in countries thousands of miles away. US's role in the global economy is not merely financial. As a world leader, the US sets the tone for international policies, trade agreements, and diplomatic relations. Its geopolitical strategies significantly shape the world order, influencing everything from the price of your morning coffee to the availability of jobs in your community. However, what happens when this leadership is threatened by internal economic instability? The US is currently grappling with rising prices, economic bubbles, and potential collapse. These issues are not just domestic problems. They can destabilize global markets, disrupt international trade, and trigger global recessions. In the face of these global threats, the US has a responsibility to fortify its economy and ensure its stability. This task isn't just about the US safeguarding its own interests, but about maintaining global economic equilibrium. As we witness the effects of economic policies and global dynamics on personal investments, it's clear that the US's economic health has far-reaching implications. It impacts not only the prosperity of Americans, but also the financial security of individuals and nations worldwide. The US plays a crucial role globally, but what happens when internal tensions rise? As we continue to explore this question, we must remember that the stakes are not just national, they are global. The economic decisions made within the US borders today will shape the financial landscapes of tomorrow worldwide. Can economic discontent lead to social unrest? This question is not just theoretical, but a reality that we've been grappling with for decades. Economic discontent, a result of income inequality, rising prices, and financial instability, has been a key driver of social unrest throughout history. In fact, it's a tinderbox that can ignite revolutionary tensions. Consider the French Revolution, a watershed moment in world history. What sparked this upheaval? It was the economic hardship and poverty faced by the common people, while the aristocracy lived in opulence. The discontent grew so deep that it led to a complete overthrow of the monarchy and a seismic shift in societal structure. Or, if we look closer to our times, we can look at the 2008 financial crisis. The widespread discontent over economic policies that favored the wealthy and left the middle and lower classes struggling led to movements such as Occupy Wall Street. The message was clear. People were no longer willing to bear the brunt of financial instability, while a select few reaped the benefits. Today, we find ourselves in a similar precarious situation. The economic landscape is riddled with instability, rising prices, and a widening wealth gap. This discontent is simmering, and if left unaddressed, it could boil over into social unrest. There is a palpable sense of frustration and anger. People are protesting, demanding change, and calling for economic justice. This is not just about economics anymore, it's about social justice. It's about creating an equitable society where everyone has a fair shot at success. But how do we navigate these tumultuous waters? It starts with acknowledging the problem, understanding the link between economic discontent and social unrest, and taking steps to address these issues. It's about making tough decisions, implementing fair economic policies, and ensuring that the wealth of a nation is distributed equitably. However, it's not just the responsibility of the government or the policymakers. We as individuals need to be proactive. We need to invest wisely, be financially literate, and be aware of the economic dynamics that affect our lives. Social unrest is a real threat, but how have personal experiences shaped our views? Stay tuned as we delve into this topic in the next scene. How do personal experiences shape one's perspective on economic instability? This question brings us to the fascinating journey of Robert Kiyosaki, a man whose unique insights are deeply rooted in his personal experiences. Kiyosaki's journey started in Vietnam. A young man, he was a helicopter gunship pilot serving in the war that was tearing the country apart. Was his first close encounter with the harsh realities of life and the economic disparities that can drive a nation into chaos. He saw the struggles of the Vietnamese people and the devastating effects of a war-torn economy. These experiences were etched into his memory, shaping his understanding of the world and the fragility of economies. After Vietnam, Kiyosaki didn't just settle into a comfortable life. Instead, he drew from his experiences and channeled his energy into understanding the intricacies of financial systems, studied, learned, and started to question the status quo. He realized that the traditional path of getting a job, saving money, and relying on social security was not the only way to financial stability. This realization led him to financial activism, became a vocal advocate for financial education, believing that understanding money could empower individuals and create stronger, more resilient economies. Best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is a testament to his advocacy, challenging conventional wisdom and presenting alternative strategies for wealth creation. But Kiyosaki's activism isn't just about wealth, about creating a buffer against economic instability, about understanding the forces that shape our financial lives, and about taking control of our economic destinies. It's about questioning, learning, and adapting, about resilience and empowerment in the face of uncertainty. And so, from the war zones of Vietnam to the world of financial activism, Kiyosaki's journey has been a testament to the power of personal experiences in shaping perspectives. Insights serve as a reminder that our own journeys can provide us with valuable lessons if we're willing to learn from them. Experiences can indeed shape one's views, but how do we navigate through these turbulent times? As we venture into this storm, how do we ensure our survival? This is a question that many of us may be asking ourselves as we stand at the precipice of economic uncertainty. As we have learned from the insights of Robert Kiyosaki, the answer lies not in fear, but in knowledge, preparedness, and resilience. Throughout this discourse, we have explored the precarious state of our economic landscape, the weakened leadership, and the symbols of distrust that have amplified this instability. We've delved into the dangers lurking within economic bubbles and the urgent need for secure investment strategies amidst the prevailing uncertainty. Have also examined the global threats and the critical role of the United States in this macroscopic view, and the revolutionary tensions stemming from economic discontent and social unrest. Journeyed from the personal experiences of Vietnam to the proactive stance of financial activism. These are the realities of our times. However, it's essential to remember that while the storm may be fierce, it is not invincible. Key to navigating it lies in our hands. Understanding the dynamics at play, we can make informed decisions that secure our financial futures. Scrutinizing the actions of our leadership, we can demand accountability and transparency. By recognizing the signs of economic bubbles, we can avoid the pitfalls that they present. The face of global threats. We must remember the strength that comes from unity and the importance of maintaining a strong, proactive role in the international arena. Revolutionary tensions. We must remember that change, though sometimes painful, can lead to progress and better systems. We conclude, let's remember the words of Robert Kiyosaki, who said, "In times of great change, the learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists." Let us be the learners, the ones who adapt, who are prepared, who are resilient. Let us navigate this storm, not with fear, but with determination and the will to survive. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos on how to navigate the economic storm.